What does one say to an ancient Nephilim ghost?
I suppose you start with...
Ooh, you're hard, showing off.
Hello.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
What's going on YouTube? It's Filthy and we're back with another Diablo 3 Season 34 video. Today we're looking at the Shadow Impale Strafe Automatic Demon Hunter. This is a really good paragon farmer, so we're clearing 125 in like 2 to 3 minutes. I think this build can go north of 130 once you get your augment gems up, once you get all the rolls perfect on it and some paragon behind it. Possibly higher, we will have to see. Very easy to play, generally quite fast, and yeah, a lot of fun. Before we do jump in though guys, as always, a thumbs up brightens my day. Right, so Shadow Impale, first question I'm sure everyone's going to ask is this better than Crusader? I think there's an argument that both are better in a certain sense. So I think when you're first starting out, Crusader is much faster because it wipes the screen, which is nice. Same is also true of the UE multi-shot Demon Hunter. Both of them have got really good AoE kills. So if you're on about trying to do something in like 60 to 90 seconds, UE and the Crusader are going to be better. If you're talking about going a bit higher, so I think the Impale is probably pretty strong bet because the Crusader, the whole mechanic is you have to like one-shot stuff to reset the horse pretty much. Once you stop doing that, the build becomes a little bit less effective, and it is a bit squishier, the Crusader, to start out with. But overall, I think the Crusader would probably go past the Impale once you get up to lots of paragon, because the way the finery passive works, once the toughness starts ironing itself out with the Crusader. But that said, as a period of time, and this kind of like 1200 paragonish range where I am, I do think that the Shadow Impale is probably the better build for farming paragon. Either way, it's very, very strong. Now, what we're going to need for this is we need 5 pieces of the Shadow set, we need 2 pieces of the Guardian, we need the Focus Restraint, Carle's Point, Holy Point Shot. We have a choice of glove, so I will go through that. We want a Mantle of Channeling, Adorn, and Rogue to make up bonuses, as well as a Squirt's Necklace. Now, this character is pretty well geared out. It's not perfect, of course, by any means, because we are only on Monday and the season started on Friday, but it is reasonably well geared out. So first thing we're going to need is a Carle's Point. This is the Impale Dagger. It returns hatred when you hit stuff. Now, this is kind of important. If you really wipe stuff and you one-shot it, you won't get this hatred return, and you will run out of hatred. So if you run out of hatred, you might be killing stuff too fast. Another reason to run out of hatred is if you just don't hit anything. Now, I've not bothered putting any paragon, oh no, I have put paragon points into it to make it a little bit smoother, but you don't have to, and I think doing 125s, you might be slightly better pumping that into extra damage. Now, you want to sanctify this initially. Strafe now casts the last non-channeling hatred spending ability, so that is Impale. So go into the rift, all you have to do is press Impale once, and then its Strafe will automatically fire it out for you. Now, the reason I say sanctify this to start off with is getting a primal weapon is a big deal. It's going to be a huge damage increase, and just to get you going, I think it is the most sensible thing. Now, you can craft yourself a primal, which I've done with my Squirt's Necklace, so you certainly could craft yourself a Carle's Point. That would be, you know, again, early, a fairly good use of materials. But bear in mind, for the Carle's Points, we can just simply upgrade daggers. There's only 2 in the loot pool, so every other dagger, on average, is going to pop out as a Carle's Point. It's about 400 to 1 to get a primal. So, on average, that's going to be 800 upgrades. Now, with good RNG, you might hit it on like upgrade 200, upgrade 300. With absolutely bad RNG, it could be like dagger 2000, and you could still not have it. It's just the way it works. But I would say that if you do about 300 upgrades, you're probably going to get a very nice ancient one. So you'd be looking at high damage roll, damage percent, probably cooldown reduction, and then elite damage for the speed. And when you want to push, you want area damage. And yeah, I mean, I've upgraded about 100 daggers so far, and I haven't really found anything nice, so I'm still stuck with my Sanctified. I really want to get off it simply because the Holy Point Shot is a nasty item to try and get to drop well. Obviously, we've got the Impale throws 2 additional knives on the legendary power. We want 95 plus on this. We're running Cold at the moment, which is the overpenetration rune. I think that is the stronger out of the two between that and Lightning. Lightning, which is the Ricochet rune, probably is faster, but if we're really trying to push the envelope and go quite high with the GRs, I like the Cold, but you can do either. So you need the correct element, you want crit chance, and then really you probably want, rather than vitality, you're looking to get yourself some area damage or some impale damage. Area damage will help you out with pushing a bit more. Impale will probably help you out with the speeds. Max discipline is very handy. Speeds quite handy for pushing because we're going to be using smokescreen to get about. For the shadows set, obviously we can get impale damage on the boots and we can get impale damage on the helm. So crit and impale on the helmet is very, very nice. For the guardians, you want to basically have your element of choice and 6% crit. I'd probably rather vitality and a secondary resist, just to make sure that I'm getting 2 toughness stats out of this. But all res is fine. All res is really nice for the Demon Hunter, so that it is fine. In terms of squirts, again, try and match your element if you can. I've crafted this one, and again, as soon as I get a nice Carles point, I'm then going to basically look to sanctify my Holy Point Shot, because sanctifying items is far easier than crafting primals. So I'm sure that with 10 or 20 Holy Point Shots that are sanctified, I'll find a really nice one. We want a focus and restraint, so when we hit with a resource generating attack, we get 50%. So that is going to be handled by Bowler, Freezing Strike. And then when we hit with our Strafe and the Impale, we get another 50% damage. So this is like 50% times 50%, which is over double damage, which is really nice. Guardians, of course, is very helpful early on because it gives us this doubling of our main stat. Main stat is just a modifier, so we're getting like 26,000% damage from the Guardians. If we took the Guardians off, we would see that our main stat goes, we lose like not far off half of it. So really, really powerful. So it does help us out an absolute bunch. The Mantle of Channeling gives us increased damage whilst we're strafing, as well as damage reduction. Obviously, you can pop that in the shoulder slot. You really, really want cooldown reduction, and you really want area damage on your shoulders. Area damage just makes this build really nice, and if you get juicy maps, again, you're going to need it for pushing. The reason it's in the cube is because trying to find one with cooldown, area damage, and the perfect 25% is going to be hard, but it is certainly doable. For your rings, we want double crit, so you're looking to get this 10-to-1 ratio between your crit chance and crit damage. So I'm out. I could probably do with swapping a crit chance roll to crit damage if I had the chance to do it. So maybe I'd be better off rolling cold damage here. So my crit chance came down to 47 and I got the extra cold. So that's something interesting for me to think about. Gloves. Now, I said we've got a choice of gloves. There's 3 gloves, I think, that we're going to potentially use for this. One is St. Archie's Gauge. One is the Frostburns, which is the one we've got on the character. And the other is the Stone Gauntlets. Now, cold skills, 20% damage. Obviously, we're going for overpen. Not overpen. Yes, we're going for overpen. So we've got 20% increased damage. Now, bear in mind, we're going to have probably 40% cold on these two, and obviously another potentially 20% cold here, so that's 60%. So my quiver is not good, guys. This is, I really, really want to get this upgraded. So that kind of works out probably only about 15% extra damage. It says 20, but obviously you've got to bear in mind you're going from, say, 60 up to 80, which is not a massive increase. But I am missing cold on mine, so it's doing a little bit more work for me. Now, the 50% chance to freeze is kind of nice. It will block a lot of enemies from attacking you. So again, I do think it's got a bit of a kind of defensive utility to it as well. The dream here would be some quad factor gloves. So we're talking crit chance, crit damage, cooldown, and area damage. Again, area damage much more important for pushing, but it would still be quite nice on this speed build. Now, we are a little squishy. Not terribly, since we've got augment. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 augments on. So we've got 3 to go. If I put those other 3 augments on, we do, of course, get toughness. The toughness scales really well in the game. The more paragon you have, just the tankier you are. which is pretty good. But if you do not like the extra damage and you want to be a bit tankier, you can take the stone gauntlets. These will give you a huge armor buff. The negative effect of this is removed with the altar of rights being completely finished, and it will make you a lot tougher. When you're pushing, you're probably going to use the stone gauntlets, I would have thought initially. Now, another interesting choice that I saw with DJ running, makes a lot of sense, is the St. Archie's Gauge. When you kill an elite, this will give you a shield for 10 seconds, up to 150% of your life. What that will do is it will keep your squirts bonus up for longer, and squirts is double damage, so if you can keep that up, it is a bit of a big deal. I'm rocking the Frostburns simply because this is a very nice pair of Frostburns, and I know this is going to sound a little silly, but when I play with the St. Archie's Gauge, when I have done in the past, it almost makes me annoyed when I get a shield pylon, because when I get a shield pylon in a 2-3 minute clear, we're getting double damage for that full 2 minutes, because the flavour of time on the follower doubles the duration of it. So I kind of feel like you're going to find a shield pylon on probably half the maps you play, and I just feel that actually it's probably worthwhile just squeaking out the damage for the speed build. But you can certainly try the St. Archies. Again, if you don't have the augments, if your character's not quite as got a well geared as this, then by all means, I think this is a very sensible choice. It will help you with toughness. It'll help you keep up your squirts. But whichever of these gloves you have that is the best, you could just plop them on you. If you ended up with Ancient or Primal Quadfecta, either of these, I'd probably be just simply putting it on the character and saying the job is a good one. Now, another note on toughness, secondary resists make a really, really big deal. Again, early on, the earlier you can get secondary resists, the better. So if we look at these shoulders, these are great because they've got all res, they're great because they've got area damage, they're great because they're cooldown. But if we did have vitality and a secondary resist on it, it would be okay. Secondary resist on the chest, very nice. This Guardian's belt, probably to be like really, really optimal, needs replacing because 35% gold is not good. We would probably want secondary resist. We can't get it because we've got all res. Would it be better for armor and the secondaries? Probably not. So I suppose actually thinking about it, maybe the belt doesn't need doing. Obviously, you're not going to get all res on all of your pieces. So secondary resists where you can get them is fine. Now, again, ultimately, the dream would be to have dex, vitality, and all res on your pants. But as I say, you're not going to get it. The more all res you get, the just generally the better. It is the upshot. Cooldown gem in the helmet. We want to be hitting our breakpoint for vengeance, which is like 37.5. So I'm a little over, but that's okay. Of course, the dawn reduces the cooldown for 65%, which is why that is in the cube. Legendary gem wise, Zeiss, we hit stuff. We get, again, chance to stun. So we've got quite a lot of crowd control at range, which is kind of nice. Obviously, big damage, 70% increase at 50 yards, which is lovely. So the further away you are, the harder you hit. We've got the Bane of the Trapped, just straight up damage. It activates itself for stuff that is close and at range. We need to proc it with a passive, which is Cull of the Weak. Taeguk, again, more damage, more armor. The more armor is going to work harder and harder as we add on paragon. So again, this is why as the build gets up to like 2000 paragon, it's just going to be really, really tanky, and it is going to be, like a wrecking ball, really, really hard to stop. Looking at the skills, Bolas Freezing Strike, again, 50% chance to freeze, just a little bit of crowd control. I think we need to activate our focus and restraint. Strafe Drifting Shadow, this I just picked for speeds because it does allow the 100% move speed instead of 75%, and I like being fast. Shadow Power, we get all the runes with the Shadow set, so we get the slow, we get the double life per hit, we get the reduced discipline. So actually thinking about it, this procs the Bane of the Trapped as well anyway. We get the 35% damage reduction from Gloom, and we get the 30% increased move speed. Speaking of move speed, I really like Smokescreen with the displacement rune for the 100% move speed. Again, get a channeling pylon, you're going to get it on quite a few of the maps. It just means you can zip from pack to pack, crush the stuff in between, and if you're looking to do your 125 in like 2 to 3 minutes, I'd say that's the rune to go for. Some people play Special Recipe, it reduces the discipline cost, you get more access to it. Again, if you're good at dodging stuff, that will help you keep up your squirts and allow you to go further. I'm Potato, so I just use move speed. And that's that. Impale Overpen is the rune that we're going for because I think it is the hardest hitting. We can do Impale, which mops stuff up faster. I don't think it does quite as much damage. We also can't take the Frostburn gloves if we swap on to the lightning. I don't have a nice lightning quiver, so I haven't actually really played this. So I'm just going cold, but I will have a look at lightning as and when the gear drops. Vengeance, Dark Heart, 50% damage reduction. Obviously we want to keep this up the whole way. And then pretty much Vengeance, 40% damage when it's up. So again, big deal to get to that 37.5%. We've got Hatred Spenders, Slowing. We probably don't need this, thinking about it, because this should activate with the Bane, Night Bane. We do have to be in 30 yards though, so perhaps it is still worth taking. Maybe somebody in the comments can let me know. Awareness for the cheat death. Obviously shit goes wrong sometimes, so we do like this. And then Perfectionist, reduce discipline costs, more smoke screens, which is nice, increase armor, which again scales well into the game, and all res 10%. We will gladly take that. In terms of the follower, again, I still haven't bothered to roll ancient bits for my follower. I probably should do, because I'm losing like a little bit of percent damage on my cold. I've gone for the damage reduction powered shield. That seems to make more sense than the pile of goo. And then again, I've gone for cheat death. I don't think we need attack speed in the build, and 2 cheat deaths is very nice. You of course want an Oculus. I should probably swap this out because 76% sucks. You want 85. Unfortunately, the follower cannot wear sanctified items, otherwise that would just be easy. You just sanctify it and slap it on. If you so wished, you could always craft a primal, I guess, but that seems like a bit of a waste of resources. We want Nemesis Braces, Flavour of Time. Broken Crown is marginally useful because you still do get gems at the end of the runs, but the Gloves of Worship are going to be really nice for you, because what they will do is, as you pop your potion, you get the Sharon effect out of the Altar of Rites, and then it allows it to last for 10 minutes. Token of Invulnerability as well. So that is it, guys. I think this is quite strong. Again, I've still got a couple of things that I could clean up, like running through this, on the video is probably helpful for me, because there's a couple of things that I can change to improve it. But I do think it's going to go 130-ish for solo speeds, maybe a bit more. In terms of pushing, somebody will clear 150 with it, I'm pretty sure, at some point. Wadijo is currently rocking the UE multi-shot with the Odyssey's End for the extra damage as the best clear on the board. But at some point, somebody is going to get a shadow. Obviously, there is the very nice Carle's point. Somebody's going to get a shadow up. And because like if you doubled the paragon here to like 3,000, I think you'd probably be there anyway. So 3k paragon, I think we'll get this cleared. It might be done beforehand. So yeah, I'm hoping to get DH150 done. We just need to grind out those paragons, get those augments, and get the gem levels up. I've been the Filthy Casual, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you found it useful. I will put a D3 planner to the build. Maybe I'll make a push, guys, if and when I can get 150 clear, but obviously like 1200 paragon, 3000 paragon, that's a long way for me. It's a lot of game time, but I will certainly do my best. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Take it easy. Peace.